Hey guys, what's going on? T-Sod here. Today's video topic is weed addictive? And this is a question I've asked myself ever since I started smoking at 16. I remember when the people that I started smoking with cut me off. They told me that I had been greening out too much and that they weren't going to allow me to smoke for a while. This led me to finding people that would sell it to me, and that is when I began smoking alone. Now, I've always viewed weed as an amplifier. Take something you enjoy, get high before you do it, and you'll enjoy it even more. The issue here is not that weed made something more enjoyable for you. It's that now you have to go back to that activity sober. You'll find it doesn't have as much of the same pizzazz. And you start to build a habit of quickly, getting high before doing any activity. This may seem harmless at first, but it can spiral out of control. So here are 5 reasons why I've made it a big deal to stop using THC altogether. Number 1, careers. You never know what job is going to drug test, no matter what field you're in. You can pretty much always expect a job to swab test you or urine test you. And if the job you currently hold doesn't drug test, if you lose that job or want to find a new job, they may drug test, and that's something you're going to have to take into account, especially if you're a heavy smoker, since the metabolites won't leave your system for an entire month, if not more, at that point. Number 2 is relationships. Now, this is a big one for me because early on, there may be red flags or things about a relationship that if you were sober, you wouldn't tolerate. So you can get into a habit of smoking or vaping weed during stressful times in a relationship. And in the short term, that can help you cope with the situation, but it's a negative thing in the longer term because it's like putting a Band-Aid on an issue rather than facing it head on. Number 3 is kind of relationships in general. Friends and family, not just romantic interests. Using THC can put a strain on your relationships with your loved ones or friends. If you're someone who gets moody without weed or likes to have it for social time, it becomes so ingrained in your personality that you're not you without it. And this is a hard one because you can lose touch with your true self and use THC as a crutch to fill a void that needs to be filled with a hobby or exercise or any other healthy alternative. Number 4 is the anxiety, the nerves, the stress. A lot of times you'll hear that weed helps people with their anxiety or helps calm them down in a social environment. This is dangerous because as a user, you can fall into the habit of using before any social event, and eventually 2 hits won't yield the same effects that they used to, or 3 or 4. Dosing can be very inconsistent, and you might get too high before an interview or not high enough before your first date, and it'll be in the forefront of your mind instead of what's actually going on around you. Number 5, it's a money pit, and this is just straight up truth. Even if you live in a state where it's marginally cheaper than the rest, you're spending money on a disposable product that you use, get the effects, and then you need to buy more. You can take breaks to reduce the amount of chemicals that you use or increase the effects by managing your tolerance, but unless you sell it, it's never going to make you any money, and it'll always be a net loss. So those are my thoughts on it. Feel free to share yours below if you've had any experience with this and quit, or if you still use today and you've found a way to manage it better, or even if you've never used and you just have friends that use and you kind of see their behavior patterns and share your thoughts on it. You just watch a TSOB video, and thanks.